So, anybody who is here, hello and welcome. I'm so excited for Miss Universe this year. There's so many good contestants this year. Like I had my initial guess, right? I had Great Britain, I had Venezuela, I had the Philippines, I had Miss USA, I had all the normal contenders that usually always win every year. I had Thailand, but this year some of the folks that stood out to me was Cambodia. Cambodia was like, wow, like I she was a whole package for me. Cambodia was a whole package, and then I saw Honduras, and then I was like, oh my gosh, Honduras. I love Honduras. She's the whole package. And then Chile, Miss Chile. I was just like, oh my gosh, there's so many contenders this year. There's 127 girls this year. So there's so many girls, and I'm so excited to be here with y'all. But this is our pre-party. It's only going to last about an hour. So please share out to whoever is watching. Because after this, I'm going to go straight and watch the Miss Universe pageant. I'm not going to tune in and, for the rest of this, I'm just going to turn this off. So, this will be on playback mode when I have a chance to put it back on, YouTube or wherever. But then very much this is very quickly, very private. Whoever wants to come on, say say hi to me. It's very, very cool to have just a platform just to talk all things pageants, all things beautiful. And I personally love it. And I love seeing, how young girls, they go through the process and they develop so much. They go through so much self-growth. So I love that piece. But hello, Pashua. Hello, Christy. Thank you all for joining. And then I also wanted to share a couple of topics that I know a few viewers, they had brought up and they had wanted me to talk more about, just because I think it'll really help them or help their sisters or anybody who has any questions about the world of pageantry, right? Because Miss Universe is the most glorious, biggest one in the whole world. And it all stems down from all of these smaller pageants that we do, that we are engaged in as well. So I'm super excited for y'all to tune in and come join me. It's going to be so much fun. I hope y'all are watching it from wherever you guys are. I know that the Miss Universe pageant, they are both available on the Apple TV and Roku streaming live. So I'm super excited to have that available for anybody who has any kind of TV devices. And I'm pretty sure they'll be streaming online on YouTube as well. I know 2 years ago, I think it was streaming on live. That's how I was able to see Miss Baying Cha. So I'm really, really excited about that. But for the most part, I'm just going to get right into it. I'm just going to start talking. If anybody else here comes in, and please say hi to me or please ask me any questions you may have. And I will be more than welcome to share any knowledge that I have with you guys in my capacity in this short time together. And this is for the sake of Miss Universe, because, oh my gosh, like their crown this year is to die for. So I'm just a part of that pageant train to just be like, yes, let's go, let's do it. I'm excited. You know, we're cooking dinner right now. So as soon as this is over, we're going to wrap up dinner and we're going to enjoy the show with the rest of you guys too for Miss Universe. So I'm really, really excited for that. But some of the one topic that was brought up to me by a viewer that they wanted me to one topic that they wanted me to touch base on was the idea of how should pageant girls navigate, for example, if they're doing multiple off topic. Do you know if Merced New Year will have a pageant this year? Hi, Miss Sunshine. Welcome. And thank you for your question. I appreciate you. I do not believe that they will have a pageant this year. If they have ever thought about wanting to do one this year, they should have announced it like maybe a couple of weeks ago, because it's very close to the pageant. I believe we only have a month left, and usually training would have started already if there was a Miss Merced that was going to come up. So if they were going to do one, they would have done one already. I know since 2020 they have canceled their Miss Hmong pageant, and that's really, really too bad, because I know every year there was just a lot more, because the Merced pageant was considered like a much easier pageant. And so there were a lot of young women from all over the state that would go there first to get their feet wet, and then they'd go to the bigger ones, right? Hi, Timmy. Nice to meet you. Thank you for saying hi and ask any questions that you need. But back to your question, Miss Sunshine, if they would have started, they would have started already. The recruiting, the asking around. I have not heard anything from them. So if anybody here knows what, if they are going to be there or not, share it with us and let us know if they are going to have one. Because it would be great for Merced to have it again. And I know Merced has always been really big on it every year. I don't know why they chose to cancel it, which is really, really too bad. But great question. Thank you so much. And then going back to the topic of like, okay, so for example, there was the issue of, okay, how does a girl navigate if she's done multiple pageants in the year and she has won, second, third place in a previous pageant for that same year. And then she goes on to win, let's say like first place, in another pageant. How does she navigate those politics? How does she navigate delegating what she should do, what sash she should wear, who she should represent? And that has happened to me before, where I have won multiple titles in 1 year, but it's not all the same, right? I've won second place the same year that I won first place. And so fortunately for me, I did not have issues. My organization was very understanding, and they were okay with me wearing my second place whenever I needed to, and then my first place sash whenever I needed to. I never had an issue. But I know there are some girls that probably have a very hard time, because I know some organizations like, no, you won first from us, and we just want you to wear that all the time. You can't go and represent the other organization. So it's very important. What I would recommend is that please reach out and talk to your pageant organizers and the organization. But ideally, the perfect scenario would be that, yes, you go in, whatever, like, for example, if you got second place, third place, whatever event that they're hosting, you go and wear your sash and crown for that organization, right? You don't go in with your first place title and say, here I am. Here I am. I'm bomb.com. Your organization sucks. You're not going to go and do that. Okay. It's very disrespectful. And so if you get first place and they invite you to their event for that organization, yes, please do wear your first place crown and sash. Okay. But if you were winning, but please do not mix the two titles at different events if you are not asked to. Okay. If you were not deliberately asked to. So that has happened to me before, where I got second place at one event, and the organizers from that event said that, hey, it's all right. You won the first place title. We want you to come as your first place title so you can wear your crown and sash to our event. That's fine. So that was no issue. But I know that in the last couple of years, there has been issues about that. There has been issues. There has been dilemmas. And so it's very important for us to like kind of work out the nooks and crannies. Really, in general, there should not be an issue. It should be at an understanding level where, like, hey, yes, if you're going to somebody's event and you won second or third for that event, yes, you may wear your crown and sash for that event. I have heard stories where it was like, hey, absolutely not. You cannot go to that event. You cannot wear that sash that represents second or third, which is, to me, I feel like it sounds very unfair. It sounds very unfortunate that the organization would only want you to represent them. So it's never easy, but again, I would just make it the best situations possible. There's no right or wrong way of navigating these things, but it is better to just to go with the best scenario you can. And again, this comes back down to your pageant team, your coach, your mom, your dad, whoever is on your side, to make sure that they can advocate for you as well. So we have a question here is, hopefully there will be one next year. You should be a great coordinator. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Sunshine. Yes, I was a coordinator many, many, many years ago for the Merced pageant. I loved doing it. But again, there was more drama, okay? More drama as a coordinator over there. So I don't think they want me to come back. I don't think they want me to come back. If I have time, I will explain more about what the situation was. But the girls that I trained, they had so much fun with me, and I enjoyed them too. So it's just very unfortunate how things played out. But another question here says, do contracts exist? Do contracts exist stating that if you win here, you cannot compete anywhere else until your term is over? That would be a bummer. That is a great question, Miss Sunshine. I would recommend that please, before any pageant girl goes into any pageant, you read the fine line first, okay? Because there's some sketchy stuff in those. There's some sketchy stuff in those pageant contracts. There's some sketchy, weird things in there. Okay, so you're absolutely right. Yes, please look over the contract and see what they say, because if they say that, hey, if you win this title and you won somewhere else and you can't be anywhere else and you can only wear our title for the whole year, yes, you need to take that into consideration, because you're signing a legal contract and it's legal binding. So it's very important to go through the contracts before you agree to join any pageant, because they will hold you to it. And again, you should hold them to what they have in their contract as well, right? If they're going to make it as fair, if they say they're going to make it as fair as possible, you betcha they better make it as fair as possible, okay? Because we have an obligation as contestants and teammates of our contestants and pageant sisters and our moms, our dads, whoever is affiliated with us for that year. We have an obligation to hold the organization accountable as well, to make it as equal and as fair as for everyone else, right? But great question, Miss Sunshine. Thank you so much. I love all your questions. And I really do hope Merced has a pageant again this year. I know they stopped doing it these last couple of years, but I hope they do bring it back, because it's always been something that everybody has looked forward to every year, for as long as I can remember. So hopefully they can bring that back, and it'll be fun. And I'm excited for it too. But yeah, best bet is please figure it out. If you have multiple titles in that year, please go ahead and ask your separate organizers what you should do best. That's the best way to go about it. And then another topic that was brought up that folks wanted me to talk to me. Folks wanted me to talk to everybody about was, what do you do when for whatever reason, a crown, like for a second, third place winner, their crown breaks, and they go and they take the initiative and they buy their own crown, and the crown happens to be bigger than the girl who got first place. Okay? Natural instinct is that it is very disrespectful, okay, to go off and buy a crown that's bigger than the girl who got first place. Okay, that is my natural instinct. I think that is everyone else's natural instinct. Because everybody works hard to win the pageant, right? And the girl who got first place, she deserves her year. That whole year is designed for her. That whole year is for her, for folks to acknowledge all the great work that she wants to do, all of the great ambitions that she wants to share with the community. That is her year. Okay, so if anybody's not told you yet, the girl who gets first place, that is her year. We're celebrating her. We are celebrating her ambitions. We are celebrating her hopes and dreams. We are helping her create her hopes and dreams, right? Hi, Miss Bao. And so, hopefully we can, hi, Miss Micey. Hopefully we can all agree on that, because I know that it's very hard when everybody's excited and the first place girl is excited, second place girl is excited, third place girl is excited. But again, it's about being mindful for the girl who gets first place. It's just, if for whatever reason your crown does break, please reach out to the organization so that they can figure out how they can replace your crown for you. And if they have you go buy your own crown, please go and buy one that is smaller than the first place crown. Okay. Okay. Like it's just nice. It's just very nice. Okay. Cause I have seen, you know, multiple women in multiple years all throughout where they will just go off and buy, I mean, they will go buy crowns that are so much bigger than the first place winners, right? And it's just nice. It's logical to please just buy a crown that's smaller than the first place winner's crown. Okay, it's just um, I don't know if everybody is following all of these, unspoken rules, but it's just being nice. It's to be nice and to realize that yes, you did get third, you did get second, but the first place winner person is the one that we are celebrating this year. And I would also recommend for organizations to please allow the second and third place winner girls to compete again as many years as they want to in that same pageant until they feel like they are done or they got first. Okay, because that way it makes it so the girls have multiple chances to win, and it's not just like one and done. I know sometimes girls may feel like, oh, well, I already got second and third. I don't want to run again. And sometimes it comes down, hi, Miss Me. Nice to see you again. I hope everything is all well. But yes, it is very important for us to be mindful, and the organizations need to allow girls who got second and third to continue to keep going into the same pageant, the following year or the year after that, however many times they want, because that's just them working on themselves. And we shouldn't label them that, oh, they already got a title so that they can't run again. That's just really, really unfortunate. So please, organizations, yes, there is, because there is the stigma that if you have already won, there's a stigma that if you have already won second, third place, you can't do the pageant again the following year. If there's no rule, or if somebody hasn't told you that, then that's not true. Traditionally, in American pageants, they will let girls run over and over the year after year. If they've gotten, third place, fourth place, fifth, they've gotten second place, they let those girls run again, over and over again until they've won first, because they worked really hard on it. So there really shouldn't be that limiting belief that, hey, if you got second and third, that's it. Like, that's all you're ever going to get from this organization. No, you should definitely try to run again if there's no legal reason why you can't, especially if a lot of these nonprofits are nonprofits. Nonprofits legally cannot deny you of any community activity because they're a nonprofit. They go off of state funds, and it's very important for them to be accepting of all community members. So it's very hard for you to say, no, well, you can't join because you already got second and third, a year ago, a year back, 2 years back. It's just not helpful for the girl. And how is that going to help their self-growth? Well said. Thank you, Miss Me. Always love seeing your beautiful smile. Oh, thank you so much. I miss you all so much. I hope you guys are doing so well, especially during these holidays. I know it's getting colder, and I know the New Year festivities are going on, and it's so exciting. I love the New Year festivities. It's the best time of the year, really, beyond Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? But yes, I will only be here for an hour, so I'm trying to fit in all of these topics all at once so that I can run off and go watch Miss Universe on my Roku TV. But that was a very good viewpoint that a viewer was saying. Like, I want to hear your thoughts. This is a question. I want to hear your thoughts. And times have changed. So should a Miss Hmong pageant solely be Hmong or no? I think if traditional Hmong pageants, they want to slowly change into to allow girls, young women, to start speaking. Are you talking about speaking Hmong or Hmong ethnically, right? So should Miss Hmong pageant solely be in Hmong or no? So I'm assuming, Miss Sunshine, that you are asking about if it is speaking the language, right? I personally think that if organizations want to slowly transition young women to not speaking Hmong and allowing them to speak English, thank you for confirming, Miss Sunshine. I saw that. Then they should make a very clear announcement to the audience members, to the judges, right? and really make it a platform, slowly but surely in their marketing every year, so that it's not such a big surprise for audience members every year when they show up and they're just like, why are all these girls speaking English, right? They need to promote that, hey, we are slowly but surely, putting it in English and in Hmong for the young women. So it's totally up to them. But I would say that Hmong pageants traditionally, like uniquely in my case, have helped me learn to love and appreciate my language and my culture more. Because if I hadn't been in a Hmong pageant and I was just strictly in American or English speaking pageants, I would not have had the confidence I have now to speak Hmong or to know more about Hmong or to want to carry it on, right? So there is a significance to learning Hmong in a Hmong pageant because it forces you to learn more about your language. And that's something that's not often promoted in our mainstream society today. But very good question. It says, I think only Hmong pageants can't do that. Yes, there is the stigma that Hmong pageants, they do that, where they don't allow the second and third place girls rerun again the following year. And that should change. That should change exactly like what Miss Sunshine said. It should definitely change, just like how we are allowing young women who don't speak English to come, or that don't speak Hmong very well, to come and join the pageant. You should also allow young women who got third and second place to rerun again the following year if they want to, or the following year again if they want to, because there's nothing wrong with that. There is no shame that should be associated with that if you want to run again, because life will teach you that the best things in life is the things that you keep failing at until you get better and better at. So I really believe that pageants is just another platform for you to fail, get back up, try again, fail, get back up, try again. There should be no labeling or no stigma about oh, suddenly you're just second now and you're forever second. No, like you need to, there needs to be a change and evolution in that, certainly. But all good questions. I love it. I love your guys' questions. And I love how you guys are just super interactive, super engaged. That's so cool. But I will continue to tell stories if there is no other questions, just to get my stories off the bat too. So I know Miss Sunshine in here, she asked about, can you talk, she asked about, if I can be a coordinator for the Merced pageant. Well, again, this is some of the drama that, again, just comes along with being in the pageant world. The pageant world always has some kind of drama. So I will tell you a short story about my experience with the pageant, right, with the Miss Hmong pageant in Merced. So many years ago, they asked me to help coordinate the pageant because I had gotten second place in that community the year before, and they asked me to coordinate the pageant. So I did. I coordinated the pageant from beginning to end, which was pretty much anything that had to do with the walking and anything that had to do with the onstage presentation of the girls. So I coordinated all of the rounds. I coordinated everything. I coordinated all the music. I coordinated all the dances, right? So I put all of that together. And then towards the end of it, when everything was said and done, the organizers came to me and said, well, thank you so much for your service, but we're revoking your title as a coordinator and you can no longer associate with the girls in any way, in any capacity, as a coordinator. Like, your services are done, go away. That's pretty much what they told me. And being the fiery, 18-year-old that I was like, no, I worked really hard with these young women and you can't just do that to me, right? And so they didn't know what to say. They kind of let it go. And one of the main organizers, she came to me. She goes, well, pretty much they just don't want you affiliating with the girls anymore because, of your relationship with some of the girls. And so I was like, what do you mean, right? And anybody who's ever known the community, it's a very small community. So of course we're gonna know each other. And so I knew some of the girls from the high schools I went to. I knew some of the girls because we've seen each other at dance competitions, traditional dance competitions together. And so I brought it up to the young women that were in the pageant that year. And I said, does anybody have an issue? Because apparently they have the impression that I'm going to cheat for one of you guys because I've seen you guys around. I know you guys. I know of you guys, right? So it came down to the girls deciding that, it was not an issue. And then we left it at that. But even then, they still, like, the day of, I don't know why they do this, but the day of the pageant, like, they were still running around, like, arguing with me that said that, oh, well, they don't like this, they don't like that, and that they want to change it last minute on the spot. And so I was really upset with them. And I was like, why would you guys change something like that last minute on the spot when everything's already been planned out and coordinated? And so there was always issues. I don't know, Merced pageant, there's always issues, and I don't know why. They always make it very difficult for coordinators. And I don't know if it's because they just don't have any pageant experience themselves or they just want it a certain way. I'm not too sure, but certainly they are not transparent about it either. They certainly are not transparent about it either. They certainly make it very difficult for coordinators to work with them year after year. So it is unfortunate that they don't have it in Merced anymore, but maybe that's a good thing too, because it's always been a struggle. And I always hear stories from other coordinators about how difficult it is to work with the organizers to actually get a pageant going every year. So it's also it can be very difficult. Sometimes it's not the organizer's fault, or sometimes it's not coordinator's fault. Sometimes it is just the organization, and they really just they like the idea of having a pageant, but they don't want to put any resources or any money or any effort into making a pageant very good and enjoyable for the young women. So that's just what I have to say, because if you're going to say that, yes, we want to do a pageant, but you don't really care about it, and it's just kind of like second class citizen event for your event, and you're not going to put any money into it, and you're not going to put any effort into it, then why do a pageant if you're not going to put some kind of money or support funding into it? Because young women, they work really hard to go into these pageants, and it's unfortunate that sometimes they just don't put their organizers, they just don't put their best foot forward for these young women to come and put on a free show for the community to enjoy. So, but yeah, that is just my 2 cents. But great question, Miss Sunshine. I really, really appreciate you always giving me ideas and things to talk about. Because these things are kind of not talked about in our own communities, because it's always hush hush. And it's never really brought to light. And so it's the only way to improve is if we open up and we conversate and we have transparency. That's the best way to go about these situations, and to make sure that women that go into pageants, they are best prepared, and they don't go into it blindly, because when you go into it blind, then that's when all the manipulation and all the weird things happen, and the bad experiences happen. And I have been fortunate enough to have really good positive experiences in the pageant world, and so I really hope that I can do continue to promote that for other young women too, because it is really fantastic and really amazing, right? There's so many women that have come out of doing pageants that are just phenomenal now, right? So just to name some off the bat, like Michelle Yeoh, she was in pageants. Priyanka Chopra, she was in pageants, right? Like all of these women that have made it into like big Hollywood industry, and a lot of other women that are not mentioned, but pageantry has really helped shape who they are and help them evolve as a young woman. So it's just really, really important for us to continue to promote this. I mean, yes, it's definitely transformed into its own beast that we all can enjoy as well, such as Miss Universe, Miss Grand International, right? It's branched off into so many other things that I definitely do love how it's flourished as well. But definitely it's there to solely help women to just grow. It's something that's designed for women. And some pageants are all completely run by women. So I just love how it's just a great platform for women to grow. Hello, beautiful. There's a question. Hello, beautiful. Very interesting. I'm not a fan of, nor do I pay much attention to these pageants, but I I too agree that contestants must be able to speak Hmong. Yes, absolutely, Miss Ella. If I didn't do the pageant, I wouldn't even care. I mean, I don't even think I would even bother to speak Hmong because I don't use it as much. But because I was in the pageant, I just love it forces me to learn the language, and then I'm forced myself to love it too. So yes, it's harder for young women, but again, it's like we don't promote our language and our culture anymore. So when it comes to the Hmong pageants, I definitely always, like, in my mind, I'm always saying that yes, the girl that speaks Hmong is probably gonna win, or the one who can speak it very well is still has a better chance, because at the end of the day, half of our population is still elderly Hmong people who cannot speak English very well. So if you're gonna represent our community, you should be able to speak it, half decent, in my opinion. English, of course, but also Hmong is really what's going to bridge our generations together. The language itself will bridge the language. So that's very, very true, Miss Ella. Great, great, great question. Um, there's no like best way of doing it, but again, I don't know. Like even my little ones that I have now, like they all speak English. So eventually we'll get to a point where, hopefully the Hmong language will be mainstream and it'll be taught in all of our schools and we don't have to worry about it. But even my little ones now, like they speak is English, and I speak English to them because it's just easier, and they use it all the time at school. So it's very hard because there's no capacity where they can use their Hmong words all the time unless they're curious and they'll ask. But other than that, it's not very, it's not very spoken to at all. But whoever, like, who do you guys think is just gonna win the Miss Universe? Like, you guys can put your comments down and we can just go from there, because I really think Miss Cambodia has it in the bag. Like, that's just me. I really, really do. I really do think Miss Cambodia has it in the bag. I don't care about any other country. I don't care about any other country. I think Miss Cambodia has it in the bag, okay? I know there's a lot of really good contenders out there. This year, all the women, I feel like they're all beautiful. But I definitely think Miss Cambodia is the one that's going to win this year. I don't know why. I just keep thinking it's Miss Cambodia because she's just solid. She's just solid, rock solid. No way around it. That's just how I see it. But let me know what you guys think too. What other stories should I share with y'all? So I know I'm going to make a video about this, but I might as well just talk about it since we are here as well. So very, very quickly, I have been a pageant judge before, and I know that there's always the myth, or like they always say that, oh, well, like it's totally up to the judges. It's totally up to the judges. And if it's a very thorough competition where there's multiple judges and they have really filtered these judges, and they go really in depth about these judges, I have no idea. I'll go look her up. Yeah. Honduras stands out to me. Yes, Honduras does. She's just like, she's gorgeous. Everyone says she's kind of stuck up, but for me, it's like, man, but she's so pretty. Like, she's so pretty. I thought myself like that too if I was as gorgeous as her. She's just lovely, lovely, gorgeous. Like, she's just on fire, right? Miss Honduras is like, in Cambodia, Honduras. Those are my two for sure. But going back to like judging, right? A lot of folks, they assume that, oh, the judging comes from the judges, right? And in a fair universe, yes, like the judges would just make all the decisions and all the choices. But I want young women to know that yes, the judges are there to give their scores how they would like to give their scores, but it all comes down to the criterias that the judges are based off of. So I always tell my girls when I'm training them, I'm like, if you go into a pageant, it doesn't matter. I mean, this is a very extreme example, but I would always say that, hey, yes, the judges are there to give the score, but it's the score sheets and the scoring criteria from the organizations that determines who's the winner, right? So I will just literally say, I would literally just say, hey, um, if the scoring criteria, which is super secret most of the time, it shouldn't be secret. It really should be open to everybody, to the young girls, so that they can work on what they need to work on. A lot of Western pageants, they have that criteria available for young women. Like they'll say that, okay, this is 15% of the overall score. This is 30% of the overall score, so that they know what to work on. Okay. So I think that that's another missing piece that our organization can get, like our community can do better at, is to make the criteria open to everyone, so they know what they're working on. And then just going back to the judges, like they always say that, oh yeah, it's up to the judges, it's not up to the organization, so we're not held accountable. But in reality, the organization is held accountable, because they are the ones that are making up the scoring criteria. So I always use the example where it's like, well, if the scoring criteria is you must be 6'1" and gorgeous and black hair and look like contestant number 2, then contestant number 2 is probably gonna get it, because the organization probably already favored contestant number 2. Okay. So it's very important for young women to be cognizant and to understand that, hey, like the scoring is, yes, the judges give it, but they can only give it based off of the criteria that are given to them on the score sheet. So it really does come down to the organization. They need to be held accountable for having the scoring sheet to be as fair as possible. Because yes, there are many ways, many loopholes that organizations can word and change the scoring so that it gives one girl or a couple of girls more favoritism over the other women, right? So there's always ways to do that. But then again, it's about holding the organizations accountable, and then also young women putting their best foot forward too, making sure that they do their very best too. So, but again, all good questions that you guys have been bringing up about just navigating it and then being aware of it. And then also, there was also another topic that like really came up that somebody recommended that I should address too. Women wearing their crowns and sashes after they have already won their year. And so ideally, logically, yes, you no longer continue wearing your crown and your sash after your year is done. Okay. The only exception is if there is a special event or the current winner of that year invites you and other queens to wear your crowns and sashes to a particular event to showcase something particular. Okay. That's the only time. That's the only time that you should be wearing your crown and sash again. But from these particular viewers, they say that they notice that women will just continue to wear their crowns and sashes every multiple years, like the year after, 2 years after, they're still wearing their crowns and sashes representing their year. But again, it's just disrespectful. Okay. Like if you were not invited to wear your crown and sash, a year that is not the year you won, it's just kind of being disrespectful. It's just being disrespectful. I mean, if the young girl that won, this year, and she's showcasing all of her stuff and all of her dreams and her ambitions and her goals, and then, you won like a year ago, 2 years ago, and you just show up, then it's kind of like, oh, hey, but look at me, right? I am so important. And yes, you are important, but again, the year that the girl wins is the year that really you should be highlighting. They should be highlighting the girl that won that year, the new girl. And that's why she worked so hard, right? Unless you, again, were invited, right? And that also brings me to my other topic of like girls who win like second, third place. And they go and they do their whole thing, like a whole campaign. Like they go and do a whole campaign and they do a whole fundraising event and they do a whole fundraising table, right? A whole fundraising, like whatever. and they do not acknowledge the first place girl or invite the first place girl to their events. And again, it just comes down to being very disrespectful. I think it's in my opinion, I think it's very disrespectful to get third place or second place and to hold your own like fundraising party and to hold your own like um to hold your own fundraising party, your own fundraising event, to do your own like GoFundMe, right, as a second, third place winner. And then you don't invite or include or ask permission from the organizers or the girl who got first. And you're just going on and doing all of these things, you know. I think it's highly disrespectful of the first place winner. And really, I think it's up to the organizers, the organization to monitor that and to understand where that's coming from. Because yes, the second, third place girl, yes, they are acknowledged, they are beautiful, they worked hard. But again, that year really should be for people who have the girl who won first. The girl who won first really is the one that has the opportunity to go and highlight all of her, you know, different ambitions and really use that marketing as a way to go about it. You know, and if there's like the second place girl and the third place girl, and they're just running and doing their own like fundraiser parties, and now there's like 3 fundraiser parties going on, like I think that's just very much. I think that's very much, and I think it's disrespectful to the girl who got first, right? Unless you guys are collaborating, that's fine. But again, please don't go out and do it because I've seen it. Okay, I've seen it happen to where like the second place and third place girl like maybe not together, maybe separate organizations, but they will literally hold their own fundraisers and their own campaigns without talking to anybody, without talking to the first place girl, and they'll just go and do it. Like to me, I think that's highly disrespectful because then it kind of confuses the community. Then it's kind of like, wait, what? You know, like to me as a community member, I would want to see the first place girl be appreciated and highlighted the most that year. It's just respectful. It's just being respectful. You have to think with your brain and you have to be respectful. Because if you were the one that got first and you saw the second, third place girl doing that, why? Like, you would feel disrespected too, right? Unless you're collaborating, right? That's when you would feel like you're, you know, you don't want to be disrespectful just because, oh, you know, well, I can't run again and I'm only second and third place. So I'm going to go and run my own campaign, my own fundraisers and ask my own sponsors and do all these photo shoots and pass around my photo like I'm the one who won, when in reality, you got second and third. And yes, please respect the first place girl. Okay. At the end of the day, are you being respectful of the girl who got first? Right. I would never, like, I've gotten, you know, I haven't placed before. You know, I've had times where I got second, I got third, but I never thought about, going off and running my own campaign and fundraising all this money for the things I wanted to do as a second place person. I think those duties and jobs should be exclusively for the first place girl, because that's why she won in the first place. Like, that's why she's the queen. That's all I have to say. Like, I know some of you guys are like, well, you know, you know, there's 3 girls and they all look gorgeous and we want more marketing, more promotion because now there's 3 girls against 1 girl, right? And that's fine. If the organization is saying that, yes, all 3 women collaborate together, or the first place girl is saying, yes, all 3 of us collaborate together, that is appropriate, in my opinion. That is fine. But if on the other end, nobody's saying nothing and the third place girl is just like, I'm just gonna go run off and do my own thing. Like, okay. Why? Like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you do that to the queen? Why would you do that to the organization? Like, you know, again, okay. And then that also goes to like young women who like just want to go into pageants because they want to feel pretty, right? You don't need to go into a pageant and spend all this money and to feel pretty. You can be like me and wear this crown and dress up and then feel pretty, okay? You don't need to join anything to feel pretty, okay? You can go on Amazon and buy a crown, okay? Go on Amazon, go buy a crown and make yourself feel pretty. Don't go into a pageant just because you want to feel pretty. Because pageantry is a lot of work, it's a lot of dedication, and you have to learn a lot of different skills. And so it's not ideal for you to just say, oh well, I just want the glamour. I just want to feel pretty, and then even if I don't win, like I'm just gonna go and you know try to look better or than the girl who got first. Like please do not try to like overshadow the girl who got first. Like it's just rude. Don't do it. It's disrespectful. It's highly disrespectful. It's being mindful, being cognizant that they got first for a reason and that's their year. You have to respect that year. Okay. That's definitely just my opinion about it. And please don't feel like you have to go join a pageant so that you can feel girly, that you can feel like you're being pampered, like you're being loved. Because some girls, they get the impression that being in pageants is just like, oh, being really pretty and wearing dresses and yes, the glamour is there, the glitz is there, the magic is there, right? But dang, doesn't it suck? Like when you lose, like that's all you worked on was just your physical appearance. Like doesn't that suck? Like when you're standing on that stage and they don't call your name to win, like in my opinion, like that would just suck. Like why do you work so hard on your physical appearance alone and then you don't get called to win? Like that just sucks. So there's a lot more things that go on to winning a pageant. If you want to just look pretty and feel pretty, go buy a crown, okay, and dress up all the time and wear heels, and then you'll feel pretty. You don't need to do the extra of like joining the pageant because there's a lot more things that go into it. So Miss Timmy says, I would just buy myself a crown and a sash and I would say I'm a queen myself. Yes, you can do that all day and you can wear it all day and you can tell yourself, yes, you are a queen. Go and slay it, girl. Like you can do it. You don't need the crown. You don't need the crown, okay? You don't need the crown, you don't need the title, you don't need the obligation. Okay? You just don't need it. You don't need it because it comes with a lot of different stuff. And with that being said, I will say right before I leave here, go watch the pageant, is young women, if you're going to go into the pageant, please be mindful of how you present yourself in the public, to the point of when you start to like when they give the crown away, right? To the point where you start. And I say this because I just have to say it. I don't know if nobody's saying it. I don't know if coordinators are not saying it. I don't know if they're even doing it anymore. But I will just say that please, young women, like, do not do any, like, especially when, okay, this is going for the girls that have boyfriends or girlfriends or significant others, right? Obviously, you are a young woman, you can do what you want, but all I'm saying is if you want to put your best foot forward, you don't do this while you are in a pageant. And I'll give you an example. Like, when you go, like, for example, I have been a coach before, and I would sometimes go and join these pageant rehearsals. And sometimes, like, one girl, she'll just be dropped off by her boyfriend and they'll just be like saying goodbye, I love you. Like, they'll just be kissing up on each other. Like, I'll see you later, pick me up later. And they'll just be kissing up on each other. And it's just not a good look. It's not a good look. So don't do that. And even when you win the crown, don't be all kissy feely with your boyfriend. If you have a boyfriend, you want to have a lot of grace with you. When you're doing these pageants, because if you don't, then it's kind of like if a director's walking by and they see you kissing up on your boyfriend at rehearsal, maybe they're going to have a bad impression of you, right? Because you want to come off as professional as possible. And it's really hard to do that when all they see is you and your boyfriend making out. So that's what I would say. So please be mindful. Please be mindful of, what you're doing in public when you are in these pageants, because it can be really racy and you are representing an organization. So hopefully you put your best foot forward and you have these conversations with your boyfriend or girlfriend, and then you just go from there. You just like, hey, I'm trying to put my best foot forward. We cannot be making out in front of rehearsal room. It's just not a good look. Or we cannot be like holding hands when I have my crown and sash on. If you don't have your crown and sash on, that's fine. But if you do have your crown and sash on, please, like, do not do that. Okay. I think the pageant is on right now. I wouldn't be surprised. It's like 7 minutes before the pageant is up. Before the pageant starts. So like the main pageant. And I know there's probably going to be a lot of commercials. Like, I think they're really trying to like get a lot of sponsors with a lot of commercials in the pageant. So I'm not looking forward to all the commercials that they're going to show us. But that's okay. That's fine. You know, that's a part of the whole thing. And of course, any last questions before I wrap this up in a pretty bow and then I take off and go watch the Miss Universe pageant? Again, my vote is on Cambodia and Honduras. My vote is Cambodia, Honduras, and then anybody else. Like, I don't even care. But those two, oh, and Great Britain, she's really pretty. I haven't heard much about Great Britain, but I do know that she is just a gorgeous person, like very beautiful. I mean, like one of those women that you just don't really see very often, but they're very gorgeous. So Great Britain, if I had to pick, if it was my choice, I would do Great Britain as well. So it'd be Cambodia, Honduras, and Great Britain. But other than that, it's a free for all. All these women are gorgeous. They are lovely, intelligent. They are all well dressed. Oh my gosh, they're all well dressed. All of their outfits look fabulous this year. I don't even know. Like, there's not even one person that I can say that, oh, well, that person out. Like, not it. So there's women from 127 countries. So that's a lot. Cambodia is one of my favorites. Yes, thank you. Cambodia is one of my favorites too. She is definitely like inspiring. She is 33. She is a mom. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like we could all go in at this point. Like we could all go do Miss Universe and live our dreams right now. Like, what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? Let's just go and all join the pageant as well. Now, since they opened up the criteria, there's no limit on age now. Like, we can all just go do it. Like, let's just band together and let's just work really hard and go into the pageant. Like, and see each other in that Miss USA and then Miss Universe. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that they changed the criteria because now, again, it just literally opened up from like 70 some contestants to 127 contestants. So it definitely just opened up like everything else globally for more people to be able to participate in the Miss Universe pageant. I like Hong Kong too. But I feel like she's not giving me the oomph, you know, like the fire. Like, I need the fire. I need that fire, and I don't see it from Hong Kong. Just because I know that a lot of Asian cultures, the women are more reserved, and so I don't see the fire from Miss Hong Kong. Yes, she gives me hope. Haha, one day. I know. We gotta get it together, Miss Ho-K. Like, we gotta get it together. Like, we can do it. We can do it, man. In my dreams. You know, we can do it. We can push hard and we gotta get it together. Okay. I know we can make it happen. I mean, I don't know how far we'll get. I don't know how far we'll get, you know. We'll be like in Mario Kart where you're playing, but you're always slipping on the bananas. We're not gonna get very far, you know. But hey, it's the one in a lifetime like shot. Like, who would not do it? Who would not want to do it? Man, I would love to go and do it. Even at my age, like, you know, with all my screaming children, like I definitely say that Miss Cambodia gave me that hope that yes, anybody could do it. Definitely. So yes, for Miss Cambodia, Miss Great Britain, Miss Honduras. I have not seen Honduras anywhere. And when she came out this year, she was just killing it. You know, there's so much talk on Thailand and Philippines. What are your thoughts? Thailand is gorgeous every year. Like, they produce them like, they pop out like babies. Like, Thailand is always killing it every year. And it's because Thailand has so many resources across all pageants. Thailand is just killing it, like rocking it, killing it, you know. And she's gonna go very, very far. But again, I feel like she doesn't have that wow factor. Like, I'm waiting for the wow factor, and I feel like Cambodia has that wow factor. And I feel like Honduras has that wow factor. Great Britain has that wow factor. I don't see it from Thailand, but I really want her to have that wow factor. That's my opinion. And Philippines, she is half, you know, African American. So she's half African American, half Filipino. She's just gorgeous, and I love her walk. She has this like sexy, sultry, fiery walk that I really love from Philippines. I feel like she's the dark horse. Like, if she's gonna take it all, like if she's gonna take the crown home, she's the one that's gonna take the crown home, because she's the one that let's just be honest, she's not the prettiest one in the box, the prettiest crane in the box, but she has so much fire, like so much fire. And she's the one that people are always kind of watching out for. So Philippines is my dark horse, and Thailand is always the pretty one, but I don't see the fire from her this year. Like I don't see it, you know, like I really want to like her, you know, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. But it is 2 minutes before 7 o'clock. Well, over here it's gonna be 7 o'clock for me, but it's 2 minutes before, and that's when it shows up my thoughts exactly for Philippines. Yes, Philippines is. I like her. I really, really like her. She's not the prettiest one, but she's got that fire. I love her walk. So we'll see where it goes from here. And I'm really excited. 2 minutes till any last questions. I know there are some contestants that are probably going to be running in different pageants this year. If you are on here, let me know your questions. Or if there's any questions that you want me to touch on in my videos, I can do that as well. But again, yes, thank you all so much for joining me. I have to log off because I want to go watch the Miss Universe pageant. I'm gonna go watch it, and then maybe I'll do my own comments at the end about what I thought about how did they win, you know. But my bet is definitely Cambodia and Honduras for sure, because those women are just bomb.com. Like, and then a lot of people were talking about Miss Chile too. And Miss Chile is gorgeous. She's just gorgeous, like gorgeous. But when I see her on stage, I don't see the magic happening for Miss Chile. So she's very gorgeous, but I don't see the magic happening for her. So I don't know about Miss Chile, even though she's very, very beautiful. I would not be surprised if she made top 15, top 10 for sure. But that is all. I'm going to log off now. I'm going to go watch Miss Universe. I hope you guys are going to go watch Miss Universe with me. I'm so excited. I got to go watch Miss Universe. I got to check out my crown. It's hurting my head. And I will see you all again. And then, yes, you guys, please, if you guys have any more comments or anything else you guys want me to do in future YouTube videos that I have going on, please let me know. I got to go. I am a very loyal fan of Miss Universe. So I'll see you guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in with me. I appreciate every single one of you queens. You guys go out there and kill it, y'all. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.